Hello everyone, this is Dawn with the Twice Sheared Sheep and welcome to Technique Thursdays. This week we are going to make a buttonhole. How to knit a buttonhole. This is a 2-row buttonhole and is very simple to do. Essentially what we're going to do is we're going to knit up to the place where we need our buttonhole and we're going to bind off 3 stitches. Finish knitting our row, and then when we come back on the purl row we are going to cast on 3 stitches to replace the ones that we bound off, and then continue on with your knitting. Now when you're making your buttonhole, you need to make sure that your buttonhole is big enough to accommodate the button that you want to do. This is a pretty big button, so 3 stitches looks like it's about right for this buttonhole. If you have a smaller button, then you will need to cast off fewer stitches. If you have a larger button, then you may need to cast off more stitches. You want your buttonhole to be just slightly smaller than your button. And the reason for that is you want it to be able to fit nicely behind it without the button sliding through accidentally. But knitting is stretchy, and so if it's just slightly smaller than the buttonhole, it will stretch a little bit to accommodate you putting the button through. So here we go. We have knit up to the point where I need my buttonhole. So I am just going to cast off 3 stitches in the standard manner. So 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to finish knitting our row to the end. When we come back on our purl row and we cast on the replacement stitches, we have a few choices on how we want to cast that on. If you need some suggestions on the best cast on methods, you can go to our cast on video where we had 4 or 5 different cast ons that you can do. Today I'm going to do a backward loop cast on. Since it is in the middle of my knitting and not at the beginning, it's an excellent choice. You could also use a knitted on cast on or a cabled cast on. But since my yarn's already in my left hand and I'm at the gap here, a backward loop cast on is really easy to do here. So this is my standard hand position because I am a continental knitter. I'm going to just put my thumb right there, wrap my needle around, and create a loop. So that's 1 stitch, 2 stitches, 3 stitches, and we have now replaced the stitches from our buttonhole. Just as simple as that. And now when you come back on the following row, when you're knitting, you need to make sure that you twist those stitches, that you don't untwist that backward loop cast on. And that way you have nice firm stitches to continue knitting with. So this is what I mean. You can see the leading leg is right here in the front, and you kind of want to knit like that, and that will work, but it works even better if you knit through the back loop and twist that stitch even more to make it nice and tight as you continue on. So, there you go. A simple and easy 2-row buttonhole. We'll see you next week for Technique Thursdays. Bye-bye!